I probably haven't been as kind to the Halo Collar 4 as I should be.
I've tested all the major GPS collars along with my team, and I just wanted the most accurate collar on the market. And in that testing, SpotOn still comes out a little bit ahead. But there's two things to note. Number one, the Halo Collar 4 has basically caught up in terms of accuracy. I still found it a little bit under SpotOn in my own personal testing, but the people that I collaborate with to make these videos, including the editors who do cool stuff like this, very cool. They also get a chance to use it, and the consensus among all of us is they're close. But second, there are also some extras that Halo has that make it a top pick. So here in this video, I am going to review the things that I like about the Halo Collar 4. Let's start with the app, because this is one of the places where I think they just nail it. Out of all of the GPS fences I've tested, and I have tested so many, this is the best user experience for any of the integrated apps. Creating fences, the main thing that you're using it for, is so intuitive. You drop a few pins and there it is. It's fast, it's responsive, it loads quickly, and it has just enough built-in tips to help you through it without completely overwhelming the experience. You don't need Clippy popping up in the corner every 2 seconds, especially when it's as easy as just, tap, tap, tap. Anyone can do that, really. You don't need Clippy showing up being like, looks like you're trying to build a boundary. Can I help? It's like, no, I'm doing it. Do kids know Clippy? One thing I really like, when you open the app, the first thing you see is your dog's status. Is the collar connected? Where is your dog? Are they inside or outside of the boundary? All the stuff you really need to know right on the front page. No clicking through menus, just open and go. And the responsiveness of the map is so much better than it used to be. It was one of the early criticisms we had of the Halo Collar. There were bugs and confusion and lag. But now with the latest update, they've smoothed out the whole process. It is so much easier. It's just a much better experience. And there's a little touch in the app that you might not notice when you're using it, but I really appreciate, which is it just uses plain language. Whether you're adjusting feedback levels or checking on the battery, it never feels like you have to translate tech jargon. Compared to SpotOn, which is powerful but a little clunkier, the Halo app wins out in terms of ease of use. If you are even a little bit intimidated by the idea of using a GPS dog collar, the app experience will quickly put you at ease. Next up is training, and this is another area that Halo surprises a lot of people in because frankly, it's more intuitive than most. Halo doesn't just give you the collar and say, hey, good luck. They actually have a built-in training program through the app that shows you how to use the collar in everyday life. I've used Halo's training flow now on a few different dogs, and every time I use it, I come to the conclusion that it is the most beginner-friendly on-ramp for GPS fencing. You get daily lessons, progress tracking, and next steps. It feels like you are actually being guided through a process that has been refined over time, and that's because it has. The Halo team built this with input from Cesar Millan, and while not everybody loves his branding, we can all pretty much agree that the actual basis of the training is solid. Now, one of the things that surprised me is just how usable the collar becomes so quickly. Within, 2-3 days, my dog is already starting to learn what the feedback responses are and is starting to, in some cases, react to them properly. There's tone, vibration, and a mild static feedback if you choose to use that. And importantly, the feedback settings are all easily adjustable. You can change the volume of the tones or use vibration-only correction or very mild static correction settings. It is a smooth curve, and that is a huge upgrade over older collars or cheaper systems that jump straight to the max level of correction. The Halo system also encourages positive reinforcement more than most, which is an adjustment I was not expecting, but is certainly a welcome one. So bottom line, if training your dog with a new device sounds daunting, this is by far the easiest learning curve of any of the collars I've tested. Now, let's talk about how the collar actually feels. The Halo 4 is sleek, it looks modern, and it's one of the few GPS dog collars that doesn't look like you've just strapped a mini toaster to your dog's neck. Compared to SpotOn, which is a little bit bulkier and certainly more rigid, the Halo collar feels lighter and more wearable, especially for medium-sized dogs. So if aesthetics matter to you at all, the Halo Collar 4 is probably the best looking GPS collar out there. And they didn't just reshape the look, they also updated the internals as well. The Halo Collar 4 has the best antenna of any of the previous models, improved water resistance, and a slightly reworked charging system. And yes, it charges with USB-C, a small but much appreciated upgrade over previous micro USB models. We tested it across multiple terrains, open fields, wooded trails, even on the beach, and it held up well. The collar is also slightly flexible, which helps it move with your dog's neck rather than bouncing around or digging in. Battery life is solid. You're looking at around 20 hours of real-world use, depending on how active your dog is and how often you're checking things out on the app. It's not the longest-lasting collar on the market, but it certainly works well enough for daily use with overnight charging. Let's shift to pricing, because that is one of the main reasons why people would likely go with Halo over SpotOn. And let's be real, the upfront cost is significantly lower. The Halo 4 retails for sometimes hundreds of dollars cheaper than SpotOn's flagship model. That's of course depending on, promos and things like that. That alone makes it more accessible, especially if you're buying for multiple dogs. Now, as with anything, there is fine print. And that is that the Halo collar essentially requires a subscription in order to work. If you're buying a Halo collar, you're also going to plan on buying a Halo subscription. And unlike SpotOn, which doesn't require a subscription but charges you much more upfront, Halo spreads that cost out over time, which could be a positive or a negative depending on, how you want to budget and how long you intend to use the collar. Where I land on this is pretty simple. If you want the least expensive option over a span of 5 years, SpotOn is still likely going to be cheaper, but you're paying it all up front. If you want a lower starting point and a more flexible payment structure, Halo gives you the easier way in the door right now. Also, an important thing to note, replacement parts, accessories, and other support options are fairly reasonable. You're not likely to get nickel and dimed too bad once you're in the door. So, who is the Halo collar best for? And this is where my thinking on the situation has frankly changed the most. If you're not especially tech savvy or you're buying this for someone who isn't, Halo is hands down the collar that I would recommend. The app is the easiest to use. The setup is the smoothest. The training gives you the most guidance throughout the process. You are going to feel more confident using this collar, and your dog is going to pick up on things quicker. If you have a smaller yard or you're not looking to customize your boundary down to the square inch, Halo is more than effective when it comes to accuracy. It's not sloppy, it's not guesswork, it is just slightly behind the pinpoint precision that SpotOn offers in wide open spaces. It's also ideal if you're on a lighter budget and you want something that's going to work well out of the box without spending $1,000 up front. If you think Halo is going to be the collar for you, check the description below. There is a discount link to save you a little bit of money on that first order. If you want to see how Halo compares directly to SpotOn or Fi, there are other videos on this channel where we dive deeper into that. That is all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.